Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Liberation Day. It is Tuesday no, is it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday no, hang on, what day is it? Ah, Wednesday the 2nd. Oh God, I'm going crazy. Wednesday the 2nd of April. Where is the month going already? Welcome to today's Crypto Blast with myself and Cam O'Connor, who has just launched his new venture, which is Instify. Oh, sorry, Institutional Fi. I keep calling it Instify for short. That's my bad. It's Institutional Fi. Basically, Cam is moving away from the degenerate side of crypto and putting a tie on. Hence his profile picture. But as usual, Cam will be giving a rapid fire update of the latest flows, pricing, and news in crypto markets. But before he does, I will get the legals out the way. So as usual, nothing discussed on this Spaces session constitute trading or investment advice or infers any kind of endorsement by PIQ or indeed the hosts, which, as you know by now, is myself, Mr. Ryan Paisley, and obviously the awesome Cam O'Connor. Hello, my good friend.
Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday, Ryan.
Yeah, all right. It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Look, it's been a long week already. It's been a very long
I
week already.
honestly, I feel your pain there. And
Oh.
you're feeling liberated yet?
I'm not so much about the liberation. I'm all about the libations. So if we can have
Oh,
libation day, that's more my you know it's more my remit. As I will be on Friday. If anyone's out there that lives in London or in the UK that wants to come and join us for non-farm pints, we're all meeting up in Old Street for a few beers after non-farm payrolls. I say after, I'll be drinking before non-farm payrolls, but that's on me.
that was a given.
You know me too well, my friend. Right, moving on. What's happening in markets?
Right, let's crack on with it. Bitcoin reached a high of $85,600 yesterday. However, this move was all but sold off during the overnight session. However, with market participants standing by awaiting Trump's speech on his tariff decisions already, we can see that volatility in play. Over the last 4 hours, BTC moved back down, back up for 2% rather, and then down another 1%. So we're seeing this volatility very much in play early on to the day. Market's not even open in the US
But
yet.
to be fair
Uh,
as well, it's not even just
Go
in
on.
Bitcoin. We've seen yesterday, like the yo-yo action in general risk assets, equities and whatnot. So it's,
Hmm.
it's definitely not just a crypto phenomenon. I think everyone's a bit nervy because let's be honest. Even what's the time now? It's like early morning, well, early-ish morning in the US. And you wouldn't want to bet the farm that even Trump knows what he's finally going to come out with later on when the markets close. So I think it's all up for grabs because obviously he has moved the start of the Liberation Day speech, which is when the tariffs are going to be announced, to basically 4 o'clock Eastern time, which is, as we know, basically the time that the markets close. Previously, he was gonna start speaking an hour before the close. I think hopefully wiser heads have prevailed and said, look, don't start during market open hours. Wait until the market's closed. One thing I would say is people are reading into this a bit too much, saying, "Oh, this means it's going to be bad," or "This means it's going to be good." I don't think that it's that at all. I literally just think they're just trying to remove needless volatility. Wait for the markets shut and then start speaking. But I genuinely don't think anything's concrete, even in his administration at the moment. It seems like there's still three options on the table. So be very interested to see what happens. But anyway, that's bit of color on tariffs for you.
Well, no, thank you very much. You filled that in quite nicely. I'm sure they're probably going to be writing it down
Adapt.
live
Oh
on the
God.
teleprompter. They're
Oh
going to be
God.
writing it live on the teleprompter as he's
Yeah,
trying to
exactly. With
speak.
crayons.
Yeah, rub it out. Just square. Red flag, Trump, you said the wrong thing. But yeah, obviously, those who trade digital assets know, unlike traditional markets where they do come to a close, digital assets trade 24/7. So you could very much so expect the volatility to trickle down, especially if you're doing something very, very degenerate and trading meme coins or altcoins
Oh, I just
that
thought
are,
I thought you meant in general.
oh well, yes, yeah, or in general. So, caution is probably going to be the word of the
Yeah,
day today.
definitely.
If you don't need to trade, just sit on your hands, just
Yeah.
watch the timeline for a bit of entertainment, hop onto PIQ Suite and
Oh,
just
there we
catch all
go.
the news live.
Yeah, there we go. I love it. Shameless. I'm all for that.
Shameless.
Yeah, keep going, keep going.
Right, looking across to Ethereum, again, a very, very similar story here. Fell 4% overnight, recovered 2%, down 1% already from the recovery. So very choppy out there. Moving down the market cap list, Solana trading at $125. XRP is at $2.11. Doge remains unchanged at 17 cents. BNB down slightly at $600, but holding steady there. Looking across to the ETF flows in the US yesterday, Bitcoin spot ETF saw $158 million flow out on a net basis, whilst Ethereum saw a $3.5 million loss, so quite small in comparison, but again, average on trend with the way that we're seeing Ethereum trade at the moment. Over to the news that you may have missed over the last
Oh
24
God.
hours. Binance suspended USDT spot trading in Europe to align with MiCA regulations. Note that perpetual contracts remain accessible with USDT still. This isn't new news. We knew it was happening. There was anticipation that this was going to happen. They announced it about 2 months ago that there were that April the 1st was the deadline date, and it wasn't an April
Right.
Fool's joke. Very much so.
This is the thing. So just genuinely, obviously, this yesterday, thankfully, I think. Well, I didn't notice any April Fool's jokes because, quite frankly, it doesn't mean there weren't any there. But just the headlines have been so mad recently, you don't know what was legit or what wasn't. But
Mm,
it's got to one of those, it's getting there, especially on social media, where if you're a legit company and you're and you're going to release some legit news, especially something with crypto and all stuff like this and markets related, you almost want to not purposely not release news on April Fool's Day because you're not even sure if people are going to believe it or not. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
no,
There's like
100%.
you're going to hold back important news until the second just because you don't want anyone going, hang on, is this a bit of a wind up?
You could almost, for anybody who does follow news as it drops, you could literally sense what a major news headline would come out, or someone would say
Yeah,
something,
pause.
and there would be a pause of about 5 minutes while people would triple or quadruple checking sources before they
Yeah,
reposted or shared
phoning
their
them
own
up. Sorry,
version.
could you just confirm what you said with a straight face?
Exactly that. So moving on to non-April Fool's news, Grayscale files a S3 registration statement with the SEC for a digital large cap fund ETF, which looked quite exciting. It basically looked like within the top five or so
All right.
altcoins. So it was quite an interesting fund that they're looking to transfer into an ETF.
Nice, nice, nice.
MasterCard is developing a way for consumers, merchants, and financial institutions to transact digital assets. Now, this was as per Watch Guru. However, I'm going to only state this news headline because it made the rounds yesterday, but it wasn't new news, if that makes sense. It didn't just drop yesterday. This was a story from a couple months back, but
Oh,
for
okay.
some reason made headlines again yesterday. Moving on, according to Bloomberg, this is Eric Trump, son of US President Donald Trump, and crypto mining firm Hut 8 Mining have, oh, it sounded like a cough just then, Hut 8 Mining have
Hook
jointly
tour.
launched a new, yeah,
See,
copying
topical,
that story from
topical.
yesterday. Exactly. They announced that they've jointly launched a new Bitcoin mining company, America Bitcoin, which whoever knows what that means. They plan to pursue a public listing and raise
Of
additional
course they
private
do.
capital. Of course, they do. The company is also partnering with Chinese mining
Oh,
hardware
brilliant.
manufacturer, yeah, Bitmain, to
Red flag,
support the
red flag.
expansion of its operations and deployment of equipment. So that last bit there was additional information that we didn't have yesterday, hence why we're bringing it again up to date on the Crypto Blast, making sure that you guys have the full picture
Exactly,
as
exactly.
the story develops.
I did notice as well. Eric was on Bloomberg saying, "Oh yeah, no, me and my dad don't talk about crypto. It's completely unrelated. He doesn't do anything that favors our Bitcoin positions." So I'm like, "Fuck off, mate. Come on."
Yeah. So
He launched his own crypto coin, and then 2 days later launched one for his wife just before he took office. It's like, come on, of course he's in the cahoots. But
yeah,
anyway,
when I was at the Bitcoin conference in December, Eric was there, and his main thing was, yeah, it's completely separate. He doesn't really know what's going on with
Chinese
the
wolves.
business.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I was like, of course you're saying it now.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Uh,
Exactly that.
yeah, I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. Anyway, moving on. Circle has filed Form S1 with the SEC for a proposed IPO.
Oh,
The company plans to list its Class A common stock on the NYSE under the ticker symbol CRCL The initial offering price range has not yet been determined. But yeah, we were talking about this last week, weren't we?
Yep.
How we just knew they weren't going to open here in the UK, and
No.
that the NICE seemed to be the better pick for them.
Yeah, I think, well, we said it would be nice, it would be a nice fairy tale ending, but I think our words were they'd be mad to list in London, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that is exactly what happened. They did choose New York, so there we go. But hoping all the best for them. There's a lot of data that comes out. I'm going to dig it. I've just been reading through it this morning. Probably bring it to the blast. Um, Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe on Friday. And do a
Nice.
little recap of what we've learned.
Brilliant.
So, last
Perfect.
story of the day, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong said that US stablecoin legislation should allow consumers to earn interest through stablecoins, and the interest earned from reserve assets should be paid directly to stablecoin holders, which is actually an interest-bearing checking account. The technology already exists, but the law has not caught up, and stablecoins cannot currently enjoy the exemption that securities laws allows issuers to pay interest to users. Now, following this, yesterday, the House Financial Services Committee chair, French Hill, rejected CEO Brian Armstrong's call to allow interest-bearing stablecoins, stating that the legislative consensus views stablecoins as payment tools to improve efficiency, not as investment products. He added that there is no agreement in Congress to permit stablecoins to offer yield to holders. So, an interesting story. There was a first draft, or like a first full draft of the stablecoin legislation that I reposted on my account that I'm speaking through today. It was about 4 days ago, did a little run through of all the main points that I picked out um, there, so you can catch that thread. I'll repost it after the spaces as well,
Perfect.
just to go through that bill and all the points because it's 72 pages long. It's not a short read,
That sounds like
but
when
if
you
you're
stick in Chat GPT and say, "Tell me the TLDR, please."
exactly, that's basically what I did. Let's be honest. Um,
Sorry. Look, just a little look behind the curtains there for the listeners.
Oh, it's brilliant. No, I've got for those who are on the space, there's a few familiar listeners who know Cookie and who he is. He's well into that. So gave it to ChatGPT, sent it to him, and they both came out with roughly the same thing. I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
perfect.
Maybe he's
Yeah,
using ChatGPT as well, and
yeah.
he's
This is
actually,
it. Chat
liking it a
GPT all
bunch.
the way down.
Anyway, we'll end there on a very funny note.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Cam, thank you as always. I actually quite like this time. I know we normally do it about 10:45, but I quite like the 1 o'clock start, but it's entirely up to you. For those of you that haven't already checked it out, do check out Cam's new offering, Institutional Fi. Again, it's putting a tie on the degenerate crypto landscape and basically just speaking kind of refined and kind of laser focused on the institutional crypto news and information. So check that out. And also from PIQ standpoint, we are over the moon that Cam is part of Team PIQ now, especially bringing up the old crypto side of it. But listeners, thank you so much for listening in. If you are trading today, keep it tight. As Cam said, if you don't have to trade, why the fuck would you? Just sit back, enjoy the carnage, preferably on PIQ Suite. And yeah, take care, have a good one, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.
Enjoy. Bye bye.